Hello and welcome to It's Your Time to Soar. And this is your first time tuning in. My name is Felici Ranger, and on this show, we inspire, we motivate, and we impact. And on this episode today, we're going to be talking about inspiring, motivating, and impacting. Listen, when you hear about the term to inspire, what exactly comes to mind when you hear that? I want you to think about that for a minute. What comes to your mind? Because when I think about the term inspire, I'm thinking about someone that either something that they say or by the life that they live causes me to look at how I'm living my life, and I want to do more from what this person is living their life, because it's not just only by the things that they say, but you must always look to see if the things that they say line up with the life that they live. Those two must marry each other. Those two must be one. They should be integral. They should be of sound mind, because you should never want to emulate someone who is double-minded. You must always aim to follow or to want to model your life after someone who have singleness of mind, and this is the kind of person who should inspire you. When I think about motivation, people think that motivation is bad because in a law term, when you watch Law and Order, when you watch Criminal Minds, when you watch Chicago PD, they always say, what was the person's motive? What motivated them to kill this person? What motivated them to rob the bank? Excuse me. But when you think about motivation, in my opinion, and what I've seen and what I've learned, is that it comes from the Word of God. Because God says, when you sow, that also shall you reap. That's motivation. That should motivate you to not do anything that you won't be willing to reap from what you have sown. Or take it a step further. God says, if you bring back to the storehouse 10% of what comes in your hand, He said, see if I won't open up the floodgates, that you won't have room enough to restore it, and He will rebuke the devourer for your sake. That is what you call motivation. That will motivate you to not want to spend the 10% that's not even yours. You want to give that back to God. Give it back, because it's not yours. That's why you give it back. And when you think about impacting, let's say, for example, I was a Bahamian model. I actually did Mr. Caribbean 2012, and although many people have known me for that, when I'm dead and I'm gone, that all those things are fade away, because the Word of God says only things that you do for the Lord will last. When you think about Abraham and his story, that's lasting. People are still talking about that today. When you hear about David, they're still talking about that today. When you think about what Jesus died on the cross for, those are things that people are still talking about up to today. So that's the kind of life I want to live. A life that is impacting. And I just want to let each and every one of you know that your 2019 can and will be a year where you inspire, where you motivate, and you impact. And my mission, my vision for this channel, my vision for my YouTube channel, and every other media that I'll be on, whether it's podcast, my website, social media, I will always inspire, I will always motivate, and I will always impact. And if this is your first time hearing this, I believe you can soar, and it's your time to soar. Have a good one, y'all.